just gonna start. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Katie.
What's your last name?
Riok.
Riok. And where do you work, Katie?
At Keller Williams.
Keller Williams. Well, I'm Trent Grandstaff, and I work at Home Street Bank. And we just met today for the first time ever. Thank you, Ella Connor, for the intro.
Yes.
And we decided that we're going to try something new, which is to drive around. Do you want to get more coffee?
Do we need more coffee?
Always.
We can always use more coffee.
Always.
Right?
And we wanted to discuss a serious topic that's not being discussed right now.
It's pretty big.
Which is essentially, Katie and I, we both went through a divorce.
Yes.
And there's one issue that comes up when you're in marriage, and then you get outside of marriage, and you start dating again. And the issue is gas. So that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to drive around and talk about this, so I am only half paying attention to this conversation, and we're going to see what happens, hopefully not a car crash.
Yes,
so,
please, let's not get in a car crash.
Yes. So you said that you were married for 5 years?
Just a little over 5.
5 years. I was married for almost 9 years. And in that 5 years, did you and your then husband get pretty comfortable with each other?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it kind of happens, right? I mean, ultimately, the stomach aches have to stop eventually. And so, what do you have? What would be the most embarrassing story from that?
I can't think right now. You're putting me on the spot.
I know mine.
Okay, then share yours.
Okay. This is really embarrassing. Okay, so...
Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
Right.
Like 10 or above?
Might be a 10.5.
Okay.
Might be a 10.5.
I'll be the judge of that.
I think my face is actually getting red right now. Okay, so I took the family to Panda Express. Love my Panda Express. Don't need it anymore. After this story, you'll know why. So, had the orange chicken. And on the way home, it felt like somebody was sticking a dagger into my gut. It was the worst.
Felt really good.
The worst pain. And this isn't really a gas story. This is the next level, but I'm going to share it anyway. So I take the back way home from Panda on Prairie. So I am driving down Prairie, and I am passing all my bathroom opportunities because I just think I'm having like something going wrong. And then there's it wasn't even gurgle. It was just a dagger. Okay. And I'm gripping the steering wheel going, oh my gosh! I've got the kids in the car, and basically I'm past the point of no return. I'm in between, like I'm further away from a public restroom than I am to my house. And it hits so hard, I have to pull off of the side of the road. I open both doors, and it's game on. And my then stepdaughter is looking at me just in absolute terror. Like, what is happening? And cars are driving by, and they're stopping and asking if we're okay. And my wife at the time is just beet red and going, oh my gosh. And yeah, I think I don't need to tell the rest of the story.
Did you use a sock?
So we had baby wipes at the time, which is like the best part of being parents, right? You always have baby wipes, which after that experience, it was nice.
And you always have them now.
I don't actually. I need to get some. But, you know, I haven't had any moments like...
You've got plenty of other stuff in here.
I haven't had moments like that since then.
These are pretty good.
Protein bars are
Yep.
good. Okay, so do you have a story? I mean, that was more of a...
one that would even come close to that.
But, well, the topic that we were kind of discussing before deciding to wing this video here was basically you're in marriage and you kind of get used to it. You know, there's not a lot of boundaries.
No, there's not.
There's sort of a...
Because two become one. Is
yes.
Really what it's about.
Start blending.
So it doesn't matter what it is.
Blending odors, blending smells.
But you can make a candle out of that.
The blended odors. I like it.
Not sure I'd buy it, but
yeah. I'm just kind of getting nauseous thinking about the blending.
There.
It smells.
But that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's one of my worst ones, actually. Let's just pretend like that didn't happen.
Let's get all those bad ones out of the way.
Yeah, they're gone.
But when you start dating again, so you're out of the marriage and you start dating again, like, talk about that. What's been your experience so far?
I haven't done too much of that.
Too much dating?
Because it's a little bit different when you're in your 30s and starting over again.
That's true.
You know?
That's true.
But still, I think that it's not really about the first kiss. It's more about the first fart, right?
I think, yeah, you want to talk about
just saying.
intimacy.
Yeah.
I mean, and knowing if you can stick it out with your partner, that needs
That's
to...
very telling right there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Well, and also, like, the discomfort. How real can you get with someone if you're holding them in?
Okay, but you can't really, because the whole time you're standing like, oh, I really got to go. I just need to, and you can't. 'Cause
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So how many dates do you go on before you can actually start doing that in front of that person? Would you say? Is it like 3, more like 10? It's a tough question.
That is a tough question. And who does it first? Do you wait for them
I think
to
it's
do
usually
it?
the guy first.
It probably
It's
is.
usually the guy first.
Not on purpose. You know, I'll tell you, I was in a relationship, and as soon as that happened, I felt like things were sort of going downhill because I felt like it was too soon. And she met me right as I ate something bad, and there was no options. There
And
was
you're
no.
sure it wasn't food poisoning?
It wasn't food poisoning.
Because that's pretty bad.
it wasn't. I don't know what it was. But it was basically like I just had to tell her, I'm like, look, you're choosing to spend time with me at my house. I'm dealing with this issue, and I don't know how much self-control I'm going to be able to have.
Well, and when there's no air freshener around, that's like the worst. You're like, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. Like, do I stay in here till it goes away, or do I just go ahead and open the door?
Yes,
You know?
yes. And I was like using Febreze. And here's the thing: is in my upstairs bathroom, my master bathroom, there's no fart fan. I don't know.
that's
Like,
so-
it's a beautiful house. I've got granite.
You know
I've got
what?
radiant floor
I don't
heating.
think those really work. They
Oh.
don't. No, because you know what's such a annoying thing, actually, now that I think about this?
What?
Is when a guy goes to the bathroom and then he shuts the door and leaves the fan on for like an hour, and you're like, this doesn't help.
That is not the
No,
worst thing he
no.
could do.
But seriously, it's annoying. Then the
Well-
fan's on nonstop, and the smell doesn't go away. It's
Depending
still
on
there.
their diet, it might be sticking to the paint.
But that's what Febreze is for.
That's true. I do have a
It
steady
depends
flow.
on what scent you get, though.
Yes, yeah.
The
You
berry ones are
blend.
always not so good.
You blend the wrong scent with
And
a
it is
fart.
bad.
It is
It is
like
bad.
they need to just have it clearly labeled, the fart killer,
Well, there you go.
right?
You should make
Febreze
that.
freshness, the fart
Yeah.
killer.
That's
right?
way better than the candle idea.
What is it? What brand? The Fresh Maker, the fart killer. Yeah, I absolutely think so. So yeah, I mean I honestly think like just like with any relationship, you dive into intimacy too quickly, it's gonna start killing the relationship. I think it's the same thing with farts, is that you fart too soon, you have this very thinly laid foundation, and it's gonna crack under the smell.
Not necessarily, because if you can laugh about it,
Yeah,
then you're
that's-
kind of like breaking through that layer and can go don't you think so? No?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
just
I think
saying.
it's an individual level, you know? But I also know that if I did let a squeaker out and she got all offended and upset, I know it's not going to work out. Just because I know myself. I'm like,
Well, it's a natural thing. I mean, it's
It's-
burping, passing gas. It's natural.
this is true.
You can't hide it.
This is true. Yeah, I mean, it is natural,
However, it's
and
not,
it's going to come
it
out.
doesn't seem natural, though, when a girl does it. Especially if she's, like, a lady and classy.
Yeah,
Because there's some, you're like, whatever, you're just, like, kind of one of the dudes, you know?
it's true.
I'm just saying.
I do want to point out, however, that the conversation probably 40 years ago, or maybe even 30 years ago, was when do you have intimacy, sexual intimacy in a relationship? And now it's when do you fart?
Well, yeah, because way back then, it was like the 2 beds. So when do we put them together, or who's coming in my twin bed, you know?
That's true.
Because
That's
now
true.
it's just 1 bed.
It's one bed.
It's a
Yeah.
king-size bed.
Yeah. Which is a
Which-
whole nother issue of like when you're, when you're sleeping in the same bed with somebody, man, if they don't have the sphincter control, that can be a problem in its own.
But especially if you can't sleep well.
Yes. Yeah, you're waking up to strange
Yeah.
smells, which I did with my dog this morning. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's like the worst.
5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh yeah, she jumped up right away
Yeah,
when she
no,
knew I was
That's
up.
not good.
It's not good.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, everybody does it. Everybody farts. Yeah, there's a book on that, right? Or is it?
I think, no,
Everybody poops.
I can't remember.
Do you have any examples of when you were like on a date or just getting into a relationship where, you were pretty comfortable and it didn't go well?
You're putting me on the spot. I can't think
That's
like
the
that.
point
like,
of
I
doing
honestly
this
can't
is-
think.
yeah.
I can't think.
There's a reason why we chose to do
I
this, because you
know.
gotta just, you know.
But I can't.
I think you're just.
I
being
mean,
too
I'm remembering,
reserved.
like, this was way long ago when I was in my teens. I'd eaten something and I went to the movies. And I think I took my cousins at that time. And I literally was in the bathroom at the theater the entire movie, coming out both ends.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was a little embarrassing because I was also on a date at the same time. So I was
Oh,
in the
that's-
bathroom the whole time at the movies.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
That's the worst when
Yeah.
you're feeling ill.
So when I'm feeling not so good, I try to just not go to a movie.
Yeah. Yeah,
Probably
I mean
just
you're
better
kind of
not.
you're kind of locked in. You're kind of locked in, and it's pretty obvious when you're not coming out of the
Yeah.
bathroom in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever get self-conscious, like if you do need to use the restroom for number 2 on a date, that you're like, I need to do this quick so he doesn't know it's a number 2?
Well, it depends if you're like at a restaurant or at your house or his house, because that's a whole different element. See,
This
that's
is
if
true.
you're out in public, it's one thing, but then when you go back to each other's house, then it gets a little like, oh, I don't want to go in there, because
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents on that.
Is there any other aspect of this topic that we haven't really covered?
I don't think so.
I think we pretty much
I mean,
have
we
covered.
went through the wide array and gamut of this one, including 40 years ago and how they used to sleep and the topics they would have. So I think we did pretty good on this one.
Yeah. Well, I think for our audience, for those who are still tuned into this ridiculous video, we'd like to hear your stories.
Ooh,
Please
good point. Yes.
let us know your thoughts on date farts and when's the appropriate time, and if you have any good stories that you feel like sharing and totally ruining
But you
your
didn't really
reputation.
answer that. You didn't answer when you think is the appropriate time.
Well, I kind of did. I said it's on an individual basis. I mean,
Yeah, so, but we both could probably agree that the very first time is probably not the best time. Because that's a make it or break it right there.
that's true. That's putting
Because
a
if it's
lot.
the first time, you're probably not going to go to the second date. You're like, this person's got they got gas problems.
Right.
Intestinal issues.
Or this person gets
Or they're really rude.
way too comfortable, way too quickly.
That's also very true.
Yeah. Well, I think, I don't know. I think the longer you can hold out from doing that, the better. Put up with a little stomach ache. Take some Gas X. In fact, I was looking back to see if I had my bag, because I have some in there. Just keep the magic alive as long as you can.
And
You
probably
know?
not eat beans, like, don't go to Mexican the first couple dates, right? I mean, that's probably not a good idea.
I swear I make that mistake all of the time. I think it's just the nervous
Beans don't
eating.
affect me like they do other people. 'Cause
Really?
I eat beans so much that
The magical fruit.
Yep.
The more you eat, the more you toot.
That's right.
more you toot, the better you feel.
Yep.
So eat beans at every meal. Okay, well, I really appreciate you coming onto my show.
What are you calling your show?
I don't know. Cars and coffee is already taken. We don't have any coffee.
We did just have coffee.
We did just have coffee. That's probably why we're a little
We could
amped
call
up
it
right now.
the protein bar show.
No. Let's call it Serious Topics with that Grandstaff guy.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks
That's
for tuning
it.
in. I don't know how long this video is going to take to upload. We probably should have just
Probably
live streamed it. 13 minutes in high definition. So you might see this tomorrow. See ya. Leave comments, share, comment, like. Yep.